A hornet took me deep into a graveyard. I followed it into a foggy radioactive graveyard. When I came out, the hornet started following me again, and I went to my aunt's house. In the kitchen, it was really messy, and I eventually went to this low-lit wooden building where to talk about the grave I saw with the detective. My cousins were at my house watching my dogs. I was in school trying to take a test, but I zoned out and missed it. I was talking with my teacher and she didn't really understand how I missed it. And there was a teacher guy who was really pissed at me too. I said I forgot my meds that morning. I stayed in the room for the next class so I could take the test, but my teacher started moving all the desks and ended up cleaning up something because the floor was dirty. I was talking to this girl and we were talking about class, and she stopped talking to me when I mentioned music, so I just walked out of the classroom, and there's a gift shop with low red lights and smoke. There's a kid in there with a blade shirt, and I talked to him too. I dreamt my grandma went outside to go to work, and she got shot 3 times and survived. A bald, short man shot her. Was sitting at home watching American Dad with Roger dressed up. My mom was trying to donate clothes while I was waiting for my CDs to come in. We went to a restaurant and I met a YouTuber, and she was wearing a talesman slash seal, and we were talking with Liz about different stuff, and then we went to my granddad's and then an underground sub facility. Then I went searching for an abandoned house with this girl. We went to this house that my grandma saw a major crime at. I went to a big mountaintop resort with a huge store on it, and it looked like Louisiana. There was also a store we went to, but we were in a parking lot where people were selling paintings. In the mountaintop resort, there are tables everywhere and buildings scattered about, like overhead roofs. In a massive school in the gym, there were a ton of people playing dodgeball against my small team. The Dream had TVs and documentaries playing about bullying. This was an interesting one. I remember it. Yeah, it was just perpetually nighttime, and I'd say more like a mixture of like that Southern America, maybe like closer to like the mountains, like maybe Colorado a bit. But whatever. Here's the next one. This is actually a dream that I've been wanting to get for a really long time, but I finally have it right in front of me. I went to an abandoned Best Buy, and it was a huge rectangular building. It was filled with water all over the floors and broken stuff, and it had a basement. I was walking out, and there was the owner, but he said he didn't mind us being there. Then I went to Target and got some candy bars and a drink. 1 cotton candy bar for my mom with a sugary drink, and a Butterfinger for Liz, and a Mountain bar for me. Was doing a magic ritual with lime juice in a mansion with huge holes in the floor and rooms for each ritual that were like large fireplaces on a huge rounded island surrounded by water with a cabin and abandoned buildings everywhere. Went into town to look at CDs and saw DVDs and books. I was in a mall with bats everywhere flying. I was playing a game show with these girls. Oh yeah, I remember that one. There's a game show going on, and we were like touring through the mall, and there were just bats. And like it was like a zoo mixed with a mall. Okay. A satanic cult was stealing pills from my grandma, and when they got to our porch to steal the pills, I walked up to them and said hi when I was right behind them, and they turned around and fell off the porch. I followed them back to their hangout and broke all of their stuff, and they were all cowering and whimpering with fear with their masks and robes on. I was hanging out with my mom in this weird Barnes & Nobles that had 3 stores to enter it. Oh yeah, this was like, there's like 3 levels that you'd climb the stairs, right? Okay, so anyway, at the mid-floor there were face masks for everyone. And then I went to my granddad's, and there were a ton of people, and a caretaker was looking out for my granddad. In my granddad's bathroom, there were a ton of video game systems and a ton of pictures of people, and someone came in and started playing music that was like classic rock and roll. I was hiding in a shack. Okay, 1 second. This is the next dream. Sorry, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Okay, I was hiding in a shack trying to snipe a character in a video game while pirate types were shooting at me. I shot them too. This shack was like this water place. I can't really explain it. Like, kind of like something you'd see in Fallout, right near the water, like those houses with the glass, and like they're like little tool sheds that are like waterside. Yeah, that's all I can really say. But I picked up their money and weapons and then decided to leave. And then we went to this 10-story building that was a collection of museums. One floor had a long hallway of fish, and one had ancient armor. I showed my family one of my rare hip-hop CDs from Bling Bling. That old, kind of like internet meme kind of guy, like Viper, almost like a Wu-Tang Clan type of hip-hop artist. Really hard to explain. Anyway, this is the next dream. We went to a mall, opened area with clothes. There's an open area with clothes. We walked home and found marble buildings on a main road and a college class inside this building. It was like going downwards, like the stairs for the college class to go down into it were like the chairs that they'd sit at and watch a lecturer, right? Okay, so in a basement, I was talking about the music I liked in high school, and I was pushing around an incense on the floor. I was going through a house, watching TV in one of the rooms, and then I went to a trailer park, ate food with one of the guys, and inside their trailer looked like my grandma's old trailer. This one was more like a big open area, you know. The trailers were pretty much touching the ground. They were pretty much houses, but they just were the size of a trailer, and they looked like the interiors looked like trailers, okay? And their dog looked like my black Pomeranian Homer. I went on a drive with one, and we got in a car accident in the forest, and they died. Back home, one of my neighbors had a tree house and was shooting our trash can with a pellet gun. And then I went to Arkansas, and we were all staying at a small museum with my aunt and uncle, and there was a bunch of censored Confederate stuff. I got wigs for a hat and a hairpiece, and Joey got McDonald's, my brother, and there were pictures of a moon everywhere. I went to Subway and tried to order, and somebody took over my order, so I beat him repeatedly, and they didn't care. Okay, yeah. Okay, next dream. There was an extremely bad blemish on my face. I had to squeeze it, and when it came out, it left a huge hole, and strings were left over inside. It was like body horror. I was going to this really large motel, and there was a big pool in the center of a closed-off building. I was sitting around a food court, and someone ran up to me and started yelling, so I pushed them really hard. And a cop came and started locking me up and rushed me outside of these sheds and started asking incriminating questions. Okay, that was a really good one. Okay, so this was more of a hotel, right? This wasn't a motel. This wasn't outside. I must have just miswrote that. But it was like a big green hotel, and I was on this trip, this vacation, and I was looking out over the escalator or the elevator, which was like a glass, elevator, and I kept looking out over the pool, and eventually I went down by the pool to eat. And then, somebody was like yelling at me and like swearing and all that good stuff, and I pushed them, and then they called the cop, and then they took me away. Okay. I dreamt I was at my parents'. I was looking for a TV to play my game on the back porch, and I ended up going to the basement. It was a huge and mostly empty except a TV and a large table. This one will come up frequently in my later dreams because I started dreaming about this basement being really open and full of random stuff. This is probably the first time I ever really dreamt about it like this, but it starts a trend, you know. So anyway, it continues on here. My parents were also mining for cryptocurrency with a huge generator. Later there was another across from it with wooden steps going up behind it. I told them it was at the expense of the environment and that they traded environmental health for unsafe fake currency. I went upstairs and I looked in for clothes in my brother's old room on the first floor. I kept looking but I couldn't find a shirt. When I finally found everything, I changed and went to the kitchen, and my dad was making mac and cheese. At one point, I was riding a motorcycle, and a guy stole a bike, so I ran him down, but he got up and shot me when I tried to take it back. Okay, this is the next dream, and this is a place where some people got mad at me for probably wearing a mask in real life, so yeah, I got pictures of this place though because I wanted it for my dream journal, which I'm probably not even gonna put in this video. I'm sorry about that. I was at a Goodwill in Kalamazoo with the water tower on top, and this grandma was complaining about socialism, and the kid was telling her about it, and I said something about communism, and this kid went off on me and told me I was an idiot. Then I was walking around the back, and I saw a Heffalump themed wooden boxes like Winnie the Pooh. I think it was like a music box mixed with like a little prison box. I don't know how to exactly say it. It's like a cage with music. I don't know. I walked around the Goodwill a ton, and it was really open, and everything was gone. It was mostly just clothes. And then eventually when I got out, the world was narrated by artists, and it was talking about artists like Zuzu, David Bowie, Nine Inch Nails, and it was just talking about how they made their songs with other songs and created the most perfect song within their respective discography. I wish I knew more about that dream because there's a lot of commentary in that dream. It was like a documentary, and yeah, we went driving towards these like back road forest places, and yeah, it's just interesting. Anyway, I went to a clean building where I was walking up these rocking around with these super sludges like in Fallout with some different people, and we snuck past the security and met up with Stalin. We showed him that they were letting kids play with gold, and he got mad, and we were locked in the detention room. There were a ton of people, and we were stacking crates until electricity started flowing through them and started shocking people in the room. We got them naked and put them all together in a row, connected at the arms. Then I was in this post-apocalyptic world where I was in this small town that had buildings tore down and fires everywhere, and there were zombies and turrets. Okay, next dream. I was in my grandma's old trailer park and walked down the street. On the long highway, we went to a gas station, went in, and gave them money to get across the bridge. I eventually get in the water and started exploring it. There's huge boats in this water, and I'm looking for little artifacts, and I also look for guns and knives. I get out, and there's this house. It's surrounded by zombies, and the inhabitants give me a vampire hunting trench coat, and I go around with a baseball bat hitting the zombies' heads off. The house is 2 stories, and inside the rooms have white walls and brown carpeting and wooden furnitures and kind of long, thin rooms. I get back, and my parents are at my house, and they have been trying these new weird novelty soda pops at a restaurant. I was in a market looking for fruits, vegetables, and beans, and these people challenged me to a basketball game, and I was absolutely horrible. I was in this small family store and I was putting up signs over the intercom, and the husband said his wife died, who I was helping out. Learning tarot and cards from one girl. I was in this huge discount store and it was extremely cheap. My granddad was there. It was like a mall, I guess, a waterside mall. It was really interesting, really big, really gray and dreary, and I remember it being I don't remember the word for foggy, you know. Anyway, I had to save these 3 people that were chained up next to all these cows at the far end of the store. And I was at my aunt's house looking through the kitchen in the dark, and I might have locked myself in a room. I don't know what that. Okay, anyway, next dream. I was in a club, there's a restaurant, and I was under the floors throwing a party with a ton of drug smoke. I went to the Children of Adam hideout and blew it up. Howard Stern was watching a video of this classroom in the back fake room that looked like an ocean. It was constantly playing, I guess. I went with my uncle to get him soda and pizza on this like trash hoarder mountain. And I was being chased by monsters in this LA style town, like with sewer rivers with the concrete. One of the monsters was a huge head-bodied bear, just with the bear heads. Okay, just with the bear's head Frankenstein into her torso. Okay, I remember this. It was a girl called Helga who was trying to kill dogs. Okay, so this huge, like, Frankenstein monster bear was in, like, one of these, like, rivers. These, like, sewer rivers with the huge concrete drop-off into that little place. And I was being chased through an industrial area with metal catwalks. And I turned into a dog from a potion. And they convinced the bear that I would smell the dog's dad, so it had something to chase. I don't know what that means. I smelled it, and it was still chasing me, so I climbed a pole, and the bear started hitting it with a huge stick. And when it got tired, I threw it into the river. That was a lot of typos right there, so I can't really tell you exactly what was going on in my head there. Anyway, here's the next dream. I was in this really weird world with floating things everywhere to connect. I was walking down this forested field path, and it was like I went back in time, and then I saw a crash airplane. I was going through the forest before it turned into sewers, and this woman and a group of people. The woman and I saw a cat who was locked up in a cage, so I fed it. I remember this dream. I can't really explain it too well, though. We worked our way out of the sewers and into this town, and it was almost like a Renaissance fair. People were in rags, and in buildings they were cutting meat. I was asking for money from the jobs I did from a guy in rags, and I don't remember exactly what he said to me. And then I was at my cousin's house, and I was looking for my uncle. The house had work done to it, so it looked futuristic in the kitchen. I went to a Home Depot or something looking for a board game, and it was Halloween. And I was breaking light bulbs on accident and looking through weird clothes, like hunting clothes. Really hard to describe dream.